Right. How has international travel changed over the past few decades?
Well, I think that due to the impacts of globalizations nowadays, a lot of foreign countries, even developed or developing countries, or even underdeveloped countries, have been uh, known to some extent, and this has promoted the international traveling, and this impact has really helps a lot of countries to um, improve their quality of life, and change from the underdeveloped countries to developing countries. Yeah. What are the benefits and drawbacks of tourism for a country?
Okay, so there are, of course, a lot of advantages and also a number of disadvantages of from tourism. The first merit is, of course, increased economy through not only transportation, but of course also a country can gain a large profit from their monuments and tourist attractions, and furthermore, it also helps to increase local job prospect, especially in areas where in areas where uh, they have like tourist attractions, so people can have jobs such as a tour guide or selling handmade items, for example. On the other hand, there are also a lot of demerits. First of all, is I think it is the environmental effect of tourism. Because uh, most of the time, tourism requires a lot of transportation, not just car or buses, but also airplane. They produce a huge amount of carbon print, which of course will affect the uh, like cause global warming, for example. And secondly, I think is the kind of loss or at least dilute of culture, in a sense that when people are exchanging culture like this, I feel like the uniqueness of like the kind of aspects of culture start to kind of blend to each other. And there are also a number of people who, well, I can only describe as prefers to have a preference to other culture, meaning that they kind of abandon their own roots and belonging, which uh, in a long terms can damage cultural heritage. So that's some of my points. Do you think the rise in tourism is having a negative impact on the environment?
I think that the proliferation of tourism has definitely made like an adverse effects on the environment. The first thing is that, as you said, increase in transportations, and you know during the summer, for example, where tourism proliferates, well, during that time, the air pollutions increase significantly, and it is def- and it is definite that the air is contaminated from all the carbon footprints and emissions from those transportations themselves. And not only I'm talking about public transport like buses or taxis, the most you know the uh, the vehicles that affects the most in the environment, as you said, is the airplanes. And the second thing is that people, when they go on holidays, they tend to um, it because it's not their country, so they feel like they don't have the responsibility to take care of the environment of countries, and that ignorant mindset uh, leads to the littering of garbage and waste on on in the water, along with on the roads, and causing water pollutions and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that. What are the most important responsibilities of the government?
Well, I gotta be honest, it is a really hard question, so I may need some time to think about it. Uh, so, uh, in my point of view, a uh, government should, at least satisfy certain criteria. First of all, is a stable society. So, uh, well, no, actually, I want to say the first thing is the responsibilities of building a society. So, like any countries, uh, each government of each nation needs to build its foundation on, uh, something. For example, America, right? They are built on democratics and built on freedom, and so the citizens have not only a lot of free will, but also they empowered to have rights like election and other things, and also because the government is based on that is it's based on capitalism, uh, so that's so you get my point. That's basically like the spine of a country is their regime, their philosophy. So sort of that, and then the next responsibility is to sustain that uh, country. So by for example, control of the cash flow by uh, having inflation, for example. So like those kind of aspect keeps the country from existing and have a sustainable not only economy but also culture and society structure. And then the last responsibility is for progressions, which is well, at least in my humble opinion, is to lead a country into further progress, not only in technology, but also in people's welfare, for instance, right? So that you know, people keep, the government keep increase, keep like you know better themselves to for the sake of their people and also for the sake of the nation. So yeah, that's some of my ideas on the responsibilities of the parliament, the authority. Yeah. How can governments support people living in poverty?
Well, this is definitely a very difficult questions. But if I have to answer it with my limited knowledge on this, I think that governments, it is their responsibility to, first of all, like they create a public classes, maybe for those people who has poverty, and also creates campaigns to raise the awareness of other people and able to help the poor, and it could also implies impose laws and policies that you know that make businesses to maybe let them have one job at the company, like out of 5 people, 1 people can get a job maybe. um, well, also they could provide subsidies for people who are under the privileged. That could work as well. Should government intervene more in people's personal choices, such as diet or exercise?
Well, uh, in my humble opinion, I think the advantages, no, the disadvantages will outweigh the advantages. While certainly think that something such as diet and exercise, if being encouraged or even controlled by the government can have some benefits. For example, in America right now, which is one of the top countries in obesity uh, percentage, right? So what I'm trying to say is that there is a lot of overweight people in America. So if the government uh, regulate people's diet and rate of exercise, I think it will at least increase citizens' health, which even if they don't want or they are too lazy to do it being forced, right? Then they will eventually have to comply, and if not, there will be fine or punishment, of course. So there's that, which, as I said, will benefits at least like the national health. However, the demerit is that it's completely violate personal rights, right? So there are, of course, certain aspects that the government have to control, of course, taxes, for example, or crime, which they are obviously areas that need a lot of intervene. However, for something so mundane and minuscule like diet or exercise, even if that's not America, it will definitely uh, cross the line. At least, uh, like it's definitely crossed the line for most country, and therefore not only cause you know uh, kind of like increase unfulfillment and unhappiness rate in people, but also potential riots and rebellions. Because I mean, if the authority have this much control over your life, then it is inevitable, for people to eventually rise and take over the whole regime. So I mean, that is what I think about this, what I like my opinion about these matters, and that's about it.